So I said he's going to bet £1 million on Jake Paul knocking out Joshua.
I'm saying, how's that work?
He can't,
I
can
think
he?
Anthony Joshua can knock Jake Paul out. So if it goes any other way, you know.
Give me a headline there, by the way.
If it goes any other way, you know it's fixed, don't you?
Joshua now?
I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua's.
So he wants to fight Anthony Joshua in 2026.
The haters online. Yeah, do it.
Well, they're like, what about
please make that
now?
happen.
They're
Yeah.
like, what about fighting now?
Fight Jake Paul.
I hate it, and Jake Paul's starting to piss me off.
Jake Paul's boxing career has thrived on bold call-outs and headline-grabbing matchups. But he may now be facing his most dangerous test yet, Anthony Joshua. The YouTube star turned prize fighter has amassed a huge following and scored some notable victories. Yet many boxing experts are sounding alarms. Stepping into the ring with a two-time heavyweight champion of Joshua's caliber is no small gamble. Joshua's devastating knockout power, refined technique, and experience against elite opponents make this a perilous challenge. Analysts warn that this isn't just a risky fight. It could spell a brutal and decisive end to Paul's run in the boxing spotlight.
Jake Paul's reached out to Anthony Joshua a few times. I've spoken to Nikisa, Jake's manager. It's never a fight we anticipated, it's never a fight we've targeted, but if you want Jake Paul to be the warm-up fight, and obviously financially it's a great opportunity for AJ, and you want to provide AJ and probably in turn Matchroom with the opportunity to extinguish Jake Paul from the world of boxing, then maybe AJ will oblige.
In a recent interview, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn revealed Jake Paul is the clear frontrunner to face Anthony Joshua next. He confirmed active negotiations with Paul's manager, Nakisa Badarian, and admitted the fight poses serious danger for Paul. However, Hearn stressed its huge commercial draw and predicted the highly anticipated bout will likely happen in early 2026.
Jake Paul's manager here last week, he's open to the fight. Any developments on that?
Lots. I mean, this bizarre world that we live in, I think Jake Paul is absolutely the front runner to fight Anthony Joshua next. I'm here in New York for meetings about that fight. There's an open dialogue between myself and Nikisa, an MVP. I don't know what to tell you, Bridget, other than it's mental. I mean, I can't sit here and tell you this is a 50-50 matchup. The whole thing is bizarre. I think it's extremely dangerous for Jake Paul. I've got the general feedback is the boxing world saying, please AJ, go in and evaporate this young man from the boxing world so we can all get on as normal. You've got Jake Paul fans thinking bizarrely they can beat Anthony Joshua. And the most bizarre thing out of everything is that Jake Paul genuinely believes he will beat Anthony Joshua.
Paul hinted that a clash with Anthony Joshua is highly likely next year, revealing they've exchanged DMs and even spoken on the phone, with Joshua pushing the idea forward. According to Paul, Joshua proposed staging the fight late in 2025, leading to a full bout in early 2026. Paul's manager, Nakisa Badarian, backed his timeline, confirming active talks for what could be a monumental matchup.
Now, I know you're after a world title, but if that doesn't materialize, I know the Tommy Fury name has been floated about. Is there any other fighters who may not be world champions that you're looking to face?
Yeah, I mean, Anthony Joshua.
I think that's the main one that we've talked a lot about. Is if it's not for the title, it's looking at Tommy if he's reasonable, and then Anthony Joshua. And he's adamant that he wants to make that fight happen at the end of 2026.
Anything's possible. And so I like the challenge. That's the criticism. Fight someone in their prime who's a beast. I think people just want to see me lose. That's really what the message is behind it all. And Anthony Joshua is an insane fight, but I want that challenge. We've been DMing back and forth. He wants to make it happen. He called me up, and it's looking very likely for next year.
Jake Paul has framed a potential fight with Anthony Joshua as a catalyst to rejuvenate boxing. He argues a matchup would spark fresh excitement, attract new fans, and command massive global attention. Comparing himself to a breath of fresh air, Paul insists his mainstream influence can pull in younger audiences who might ignore traditional boxing. He maintains the sport needs revitalization and believes his presence can help bridge the gap between mainstream entertainment and boxing's established fan base, creating a unique crossover appeal that benefits the entire sport.
Now you said it's you and Joshua here. Is this fight done? What are we talking about?
You know, it's going to happen. Like, seriously, it's going to happen. We were talking with Turkey tonight, negotiations live in person, which are always fun. But it's going to happen, and it's just such an exciting fight that crosses the whole globe. When you ask a lot of people about certain boxers, they don't know their names. And everywhere I've been going, I just talk about Anthony, and I don't have, you know, I'm global, so it's just such a good fight for the sport of boxing, and people will think I will die, but I will show them why I can rise against all odds and beat him.
Everyone's been wanting to see it happen. Who will be the king of the United Kingdom? And who will be the queen of the United... Too soon? I'm praying that boxing doesn't happen to this fight. And what I mean by that is politics. People trying to take more money than they deserve. Fuck the money. Get in there. Make fucking history. It's one of the biggest fights that could happen over this past decade. Make it fucking happen, Eddie Hearn. Make it fucking happen, Frank Warren. Make it happen, Tyson. Make it happen, Anthony Joshua. We don't need fucking excuses. Don't let boxing ruin this fight. Get in the fucking ring and fight like men.
The boxing community and fans have voiced strong reactions to Jake Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua, with many viewing his ambition to face such a seasoned heavyweight as both unrealistic and overly ambitious.
The real deal respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, "At Jake Paul is the truth." Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights, and he asked for the toughest fights ever, and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind. You're right. That was more of just a man, a back and her guy, you know what I'm saying? Co-founder of MVP and someone that she really respects. And Jake, but in the middle there, I don't know if she would know or, you know, whatever, but she essentially says that Jake was scheduled to fight Gervonta Davis, and she's not the only one saying that. Dan Rafael said the same thing earlier that day or maybe yesterday. I can't believe that's true or if that was really going to happen. Essentially, the idea being, had Gervonta Davis beat Lamont Roach, he was going to fight Jake Paul next. This is why I say, like, it's delusional.
Critics contend that Jake Paul's recent actions, including his win over 58-year-old Mike Tyson, underscore a troubling pattern in his boxing career. Many see his decision to fight an aging legend as more spectacle than genuine competition, raising questions about his dedication to the sport. Notable voices like Carl Frock have dismissed Paul's performance, arguing that his success relies more on entertainment value than true boxing skill.
Jake Paul, you've lost your mind. You think you can go toe-to-toe with Anthony Joshua. Listen, let's not get confused, guys. Let's not get confused. Yes, cool. Anthony took a big L with Daniel Dubois. But Daniel Dubois is not no joke, bro. It's not a joke. You know what I'm trying to say? He took an L. Yeah, but Jake Paul, I've got the utmost respect for what he's done, how he's managed to navigate through the boxing world. Like, bro, it's so mad. And I can see this is like a 90%. It's happening, it's positioning, it's marketing already. Like, why would you see Jake Paul go face to face with Alexander Usyk if it's not to position for a fight for Saudi? Obviously, Jake Paul's gonna fight Anthony Joshua. There's possibly gonna be a Usyk against Tyson Fury 3, because obviously the last two were so close. But you never know. It can also be a Usyk against Derek Chisora. You know what I mean? You never know.
Eddie Hearn acknowledged a massive but potential clash with Jake Paul could generate, but issued a firm warning for Paul to proceed with caution. He described Paul as bold, perhaps even reckless, for pursuing a fight against Anthony Joshua, a proven heavyweight powerhouse. While the financial upside for both men would be enormous, Hearn stressed the severe danger of pitting a relative novice against such a battle-hardened veteran. He didn't hold back, calling the matchup a possible disaster that could end Paul's boxing journey altogether, whether through physical damage or public embarrassment. Despite the hype, Hearn made it clear the risks far outweighed the spectacle.
Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua 50-50 fight. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I just said in another interview, great if it is. I mean, if it is, then you've got no problem seeing it. But when AJ, I mean, decapitate's a strong word, but you know, when he renders Jake Paul unconscious like he did to Francis Ngannou, don't then say, oh, well, it was Jake Paul. Do you know what I mean? I mean, when AJ beat Francis Ngannou, Ngannou just had a fight that could have gone either way with Tyson Fury. Then AJ poleaxed him, and everyone just said he's just an MMA fighter. Do you know what I mean? Jake Paul's not Francis Ngannou. As I said before, if you want to see Jake Paul exit the boxing world, make the fight.
Let's talk about AJ ever so quickly. I watched Jake Paul the weekend. I feel a bit dirty saying that because I'm not a fan of his, but he did say after the fight that he's sort of having DMs or he's dropping text messages to AJ. They're having a chat about a potential fight. What's your view on that, Eddie?
Well, look, he's calling out Gervonta Davis, who is a 135-pound lightweight, and he's calling out Anthony Joshua, that's a heavyweight monster. I think Jake Paul is crazy enough to fight Anthony Joshua because the money would be absolutely obscene. It's a catastrophic mismatch that people would tune in to watch because it would lead to the end of Jake Paul. Hopefully not literally, but it's that dangerous that, you know, it's a fight that I don't think should really happen, if I'm honest. I would say about Jake Paul, and I've said this in a couple of interviews today, I do think you start after giving him a margin of respect. You know, I think this guy is going through the motions, he's putting the hard spars in. He just went 10 rounds with, yes, a washed up fighter, but a former world champion that did train for that fight. But they're very clever in terms of the opponents they pick. They're not going to gamble unless the money's out of control. And it wouldn't surprise me if Jake Paul, wanted to move forward with an Anthony Joshua fight. Honestly, AJ's coming tonight. He's not exactly looking at Jake Paul going, oh, that's my dream opponent. No. Would he go in there and give him a hiding for, you know, a massive chunk of money? Probably. I'd be saying, yeah, go on. I'd like to see.
Andre Ward weighed in on the situation, stating that boxers don't get frustrated when someone like Jake Paul calls out legends. If it happened to him, Ward said he wouldn't take it seriously, adding, I don't have time to entertain the circus. His remarks imply he views Paul's bouts more as entertainment than genuine boxing contests. Many other professional fighters share this sentiment, openly questioning the legitimacy of Paul's matches and suggesting they lack the competitive authenticity of traditional bouts.
I understood where Canelo's coming from. Anybody for that matter. If, like you said, if you've been in a fire, how dare anybody come to me and act like I'm supposed to fight you? And, you know, you're a YouTuber that turned to boxing, and I'm a champion walking around here, and y'all acting like I need it. Do you think they're justified in feeling annoyed when people come at them like that about Jake Paul?
I understand completely where Canelo's coming from. If I was an active fighter, I wouldn't entertain it either. You know, when you in the fire, you still in the game like that, you got real issues and beef going on. You got real opponents like dudes that can really hurt you. But you need to figure out how to beat them and when we go fight and all that kind of stuff. I don't have time to entertain the circus. I don't have time for you to have my name even associated with a dude that ain't really a fighter like that. So I understand completely, but he ain't got a lot of time to entertain that kind of stuff. But you know how it goes, Stephen. And people say they're not interested in something until that number get large enough, and all of a sudden it's going to make a lot of history.
Dave Farrer and Spencer Oliver highlighted the heated public debate surrounding a potential Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight, further fueled by Saudi boxing chief Turki Alashik. Speaking at Wembley, Alashik all but confirmed the bout, revealing Paul has verbally agreed, even accepting a staggering 99-1 split in Joshua's favor. He framed the fight as a mutually beneficial showdown and a true test of legitimacy.
Where are you on this nonsense?
Where am I? I can't see it happening. I can't. Although yes, lots of money, so on and so forth. I can't see it. I just can't. It just obviously as someone who's been a unified heavyweight world champion going in against Jake, it just doesn't. Yeah, and it's like I'm also talking from a health and safety factor. It's like he's maybe a cruiserweight. Yeah. I think Joshua's a very big, strong heavyweight, and if he turns it on, it's not just a risk of a knockout. It's a much bigger risk. So I can't see it personally, but it's good talking.
Boxing legend Roy Jones offered a cautious perspective on potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua clash, prioritizing prudence over hype. While he acknowledged the fight could happen if Joshua were truly interested, Jones stressed it should make sense for Joshua both competitively and financially. Praising Joshua as a legitimate former world champion, he confidently added, "Did you see how Anthony Joshua handled Francis Ngannou? Jake Paul would face the same outcome," implying a decisive and likely one-sided result in Joshua's favor.
I want to change subjects just a little bit here. And Anthony Joshua, there's rumours circulating he could be fighting Jake Paul next. One, do you think it's good for boxing? And two, do you think the fight will happen?
I think it's great for boxing. I think the fight will happen. AJ is one of those against these guys that come in to these boxing careers late. So why not? He's the perfect guy to take him out too. He took Ngannou out. Why would he not take Jake Paul out? And for him, he probably make more money fighting Jake Paul than we'll fight anybody else that he can fight right now. So why would he not do? I mean, not that he needs money right now anyway, but he's gonna do something if you want to get a good win to put him back on the scene. That's a perfect win. You get a lot of money doing it.
Tyson Fury has made a bold prediction about a potential Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight, claiming Paul would knock out Joshua. Jake Paul chins AJ 100%. "I back him," Fury declared, calling the matchup a genuine 50-50 contest. The former heavyweight champion even pledged £1 million on Paul securing the win. His statement ignited widespread debate within the boxing community, with many questioning the credibility of such a claim. Jake Paul quickly fired back, expressing full confidence in his abilities and raising the stakes by offering £10 million on himself to win, setting the stage for even more heated
So Tyson Fury just comes out with an interview saying that he thinks Jake Paul will knock out Anthony Joshua. I think this is probably like a troll attempt to get Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury, but then again, I don't know. Maybe Alexander Usyk did more damage than he thought. I think Jake Paul knocks him out, Fury told Ring Magazine when asked about Paul versus Joshua. I just think Jake Paul would knock out Anthony Joshua out. I think Jake Paul is on the rise. I like his new heavyweight look, a bit chubby, a bit bulky, getting there, and he just did a great job over the aging. I mean, fool's like almost 40, you know, and he like was not a fighter for a long time or a boxer. You know, he's just in it for the check and the name value of his dad, you know. Aging Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He was a middleweight, but still. I like how Jake Paul calls out the full spectrum from featherweight to heavyweight. Who'd he call out? Tank Davis and Joshua? That's just crazy. I see Bridger's kill call-outs. Exactly. I will say, I don't know, Javante Davis could beat him too, though he does outweigh him by like 60.
Stephen A. Smith has consistently criticized Jake Paul's choice of opponents, often dismissing them as non-boxers or fighters past their prime. Paul, in his defense, pointed out that he had tried to fight Tommy Fury, but claimed Fury declined, though their eventual February 2023 bout, which Paul lost, stands as one of the few times he faced an active boxer in his prime. Throughout his career, Paul has collected wins over former MMA fighters and veteran boxers, yet has not consistently beaten emerging, active boxing talents. Smith has also condemned Paul's decision to fight boxing legend Mike Tyson, arguing that if Paul is truly serious about the sport, he should challenge fighters closer to his own age, skill, and career stage. In Smith's view, calling out vastly more experienced champions like Anthony Joshua undermines Paul's credibility to earn genuine respect and legitimacy in the boxing world. Smith insists Paul must test himself against opponents who are active, competitive, and on a comparable level rather than relying on spectacle-driven matchups with aging legends.
You are beating up on dudes who don't box. They're not boxers.
I was on Disney Channel while these guys were winning UFC championships.
Okay.
You know, I was playing with Mickey Mouse while these guys were going on bars and winning UFC championships. Everyone's, analyzing my career, critiquing it, paying attention to it from day one, but you can't tell me who was Mike Tyson's first fight. You can't tell me Muhammad Ali, who was his fourth fight. No one knows, but everyone's seen all of my fights. I tried to fight Tommy Fury. Yeah, I tried to fight Tommy Fury, and he backed out through a rib injury. Undefeated, young prospect. He comes from the Fury family. His brother's the heavyweight champion of the world. I tried to fight him, and he got...
Despite ongoing criticism, Jake Paul has stated that his fighting ambitions extend beyond boxing, revealing interest in facing MMA star Conor McGregor. Paul claims his boxing skills are steadily improving, while implying that McGregor's abilities are fading with age. Many view this assertion with skepticism, given McGregor's extensive combat sports background and achievements. Still, Paul's remarks highlight both his growing confidence and his strategy of targeting high-profile athletes to boost his profile and standing in the wider combat sports arena.
By the hype at this particular moment in time. Now, I'll give Jake Paul credit for this. At least he's in the ring with a boxer. But 57 years old is 57 years old. And 57 years old and formally walking into a UFC fight as an audience member, as a patron with a cane. It's hard to believe a year later that you're going to be in any condition to really fight. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't know. And if you're Jake Paul, here's what I want to say to you. It's Mike Tyson, that's fine. It's a money fight, I get you. You want to make money. But at some point in time, if you keep telling us that you're taking boxing seriously and you want to be recognized as a big-time boxer/fighter, you're going to have to fight somebody closer to your age, who is a contender at the very least in the sport and who lives with it every single day. Could you please get in the ring with somebody pretty please with sugar on top?
Does Jake Paul truly have the skill to stand toe-to-toe with a heavyweight champion? Or is this challenge simply far too risky for him?